Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday evening for the very first match of Week 3 of the Go Mode Podcast Mentor Tournament, as Lechtansi, mentored by none other than Veetorp, takes on Appotomx, mentored by Hacksaww. I am Timp, one of the co-hosts of Go Mode Podcast, commentating with you this evening. And joining me for commentary is Go Mode Podcast racer, Blackwax. How are you doing, Blackwax?
I'm doing pretty good.
Excellent. All right. So this is a pretty big deal, this one. It is Week 3, the very first match of Week 3, as I mentioned. It is also Group A elimination match. So these are two of the four best runners as sort of self-ranked when they filled out their self-assessment. These were two of the top four runners. So we placed them in the top category. And this is an elimination match for both of them. So they are both fighting to stay in this tournament and move on to the bracket stages. So we'll definitely be looking forward to some top tier play in that regard. And then also, as I mentioned, we have one of the mentors of the tournament, Veetorp, who is one of the fathers of this game. So definitely interested to see what sort of knowledge he's going to be imparting. And there's our lamp right in Link's house. So rather than a fake cone here, we will have a real cone. Lech giving us a early map check. Looks like we have all three blue crystals in Light World, which is definitely something that you like to see. It means that there's more of a chance that, pendants will be on those more time-consuming dungeons in the Dark World.
Yeah, it's always a relief when you get the quick dungeons as crystals, because you know that you're going to be spending less time diving mandatorily.
I have to say, I love that floating dog sprite that Appotomx uses. It's just something about the sprite floating off of the air. It just, I don't know. It just makes it look so much smoother. I'm thinking about changing something like that, maybe.
What sprite is that?
I don't actually know if it's from something. I'm not 100% sure what that is. If anyone knows, please. Cat Boo. What is a cat boo? Is that a Mario thing? Is that a...
I don't know what that is.
Yeah. But Trinex in chat saying it's a cat boo. Which does make sense because it, boo for the ghost and cat. It definitely has like a cat face. Yeah, definitely. Maybe it's not from anything. Maybe it's an original creation.
A boo that ate a bell from 3D World.
Okay,
yeah.
So it is it's a Mario thing. It seems like everything in Mario 3D World has a cat version. So it seems like a pretty cool game to me.
Oh, he's making things up.
Oh, I totally believed it. So both of our runners got an 8-bomb drop there, which was obviously really nice. Of course, we're not going to have to worry about the back of escape and having to double back there. We can just bomb it.
So do you think it's going to be another Agaseed with that lamp early?
Yeah, I do. As much as I would love to just sit here and, well, you never really know. At only 35%. No, I think it's probably going to be an Agaseed. And I can say that pretty comfortably and confidently because there has been some unnatural sort of trend for rolling Agaseeds in this tournament.
Yeah, it's gotten pretty crazy. But it's a tournament about learning, so it fits.
Yeah, it definitely does. It's Ag is one of those things that, of course, you don't always have to do it all the time. but when you do, about a third of the time, maybe a little bit less, you need to have practiced it, and our runners are getting lots of practice on it, so that's good. There's also a lot that goes into the decision to like when to do AGA. Even if you know it's going to happen, it's like, when do you cut and run? And even though maybe you have like a Gina left to check, when do you make that call that yes, I am going to go ahead and do AGA now? So it's also not just giving practice on the actual castle tower rooms themselves in terms of execution and AGA 1 or whatever, but really just more having to think a little bit more critically in the first 20 to 40 minutes or so.
Right, because it changes the light world from a relatively easy place to be to something a little bit that you have to be cautious about. All the red soldiers and all that.
Yeah, which is more difficult, especially if you've got green mail, but they can really lag the screen up too. They can really slow things down for you. And of course, we want to go fast, so
gotta go fast.
Okay, Lechtansi's going to have to watch his health here. He's got 1 heart. He's walking around in the dark. As long as we can make it past the rat in the dungeon, really theoretically should be fine. Obviously not trying to commentate or curse anybody here, but did just take a bat to the face there. Really going to have to be careful taking hits like that with only 1 heart. You don't want to have to start again. And for instance, Appotomx just got hit by a rat there. Of course, they can afford that. Not too big of a deal, but... Oh, they got hit too, man. They really got to be careful.
There's hearts here, though, so... Appotomx taking the top door, trying to save some time.
Yeah, that's
cool. And now
cool.
he's on a half a heart.
Yeah, they pretty much traded places because Lechtansi actually got a health refill in there. At any rate, it looks like they're both going to make it out okay, so that's good to see. We're at about
24 escape.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're into sort of a game proper as things open up somewhat. I think you'll probably see both these runners take pretty similar routes here, as is sort of traditional to do in standard. Looks like they're both going up to the lumberjack area. Imagine after that. And as I say that, Lechtansi actually opts to skip the lumberjack area, but they are going straight into the next area that I was about to mention, which is the Lost Woods. Okay, and it looks like we might have had something happen with Appotomx's feed. I don't know if that's... Yeah, I think we're seeing that on the broadcast. Hopefully they didn't accidentally have like some sort of issue. I guess I mean to say hopefully it's like a streaming issue rather than a gameplay sort of issue. Oh, okay. Well, we have a hard reset here. I
wonder if his thing crashed.
And he's back at the beginning of the beginning of the game.
Ouch. His client must have crashed.
That is tough. So as we just had counted, we were about 7 minutes into the game, and now Appotomx has essentially just lost 7 minutes. Now they could skip some of these chests. That's not going to help a whole lot, and have to remember exactly what was where. But as I recall, it was a lot of money, and I don't think they would really save too much time by skipping it. Man, you really hate to see this. Meanwhile, on Lechtansi's side, we do see our first lift upgrade in the dam area of note. I just hope that whatever happened with Appotomx's setup is not something that happens again, because this is surmountable. As devastating as it is, there's certainly still, you know, a time and chance. I mean, there are a lot of things that can happen in Rando, as we know. But yeah, they definitely couldn't probably withstand 2 of those.
No, probably not. I mean, also, I mean, that does something to you, like, on a mental level. You like,
yeah,
because he knows he's behind just 100% right now.
Seeing as how this is a mentor tournament, something sort of about learning, this is an opportunity for learning, to be sure. And you know, I know that hacksaww actually helped us put together some of the mentor materials that we handed out to mentors to advise them on how to more effectively kind of coach somebody. And hacksaww, you know, mentioned to me that that is actually a big part of their day job, is managing people and, you know, effectively coaching them. So I don't think that Appotomx could ask for a better mentor at this time than I know that hacksaww is, because hacksaww, I know, is very, very aware of where Appotomx's headspace is and what, you know, kind of needs to be said to get them to play their best. So at least we've got that in the situation.
We also have Mirror and Ice Rock Cave.
Oh, okay. Wow. I have seen, I don't know if this is just sort of anecdotal, but I have seen a lot of value in Ice Rod Cave as of late, in the last couple weeks or so, and various seeds that I've watched, and a lot of them in this mentor tournament, some of the ones I've played myself. Just a lot of value in Ice Rod Cave.
Oh, I thought he was going up to Death Mountain.
Which is totally in logic and definitely would be a play.
He's checking Lumberjack right now.
Okay, and there's just a big 20. So, and that's interesting. Like, I feel like it probably would have made a little more sense to check it when they were walking back around before, as Appotomx was getting ready to do. I'm not sure what their logic reasoning is for kind of coming back and doing it separately there. I guess just because, okay, they are going to do the mountain play, so they thought maybe, you know, I'm here for a second time, I can't possibly not check again. So
probably, yeah.
Yeah.
It does make sense to go Death Mountain when you have the mirror and the lamp, because you can do Hera. That's 5 items.
We have a lot of people speculating in chat what this sort of delay could do for not just Appotomx, but Lechtansi, and sort of, you know, if they were aware of that, how it might affect their gameplay. And sort of dissenting opinions on whether you would want to know something like that or whether you would want to not know. And I'll be honest, as the admin of this tournament, I did debate, you know, should I maybe step in here and we call this like a, you know, like a draw, like do a restart essentially. But, you know, I don't think that makes sense to do. I think we have to keep it going.
Yeah, well, I've seen there was a daily race. It was 3-4 months ago now, but one of the restreamers, their client crashed on them right in the middle of a race. It wasn't right at the beginning, but I mean, they lost like 10 minutes of progress.
Wow.
So I feel like keeping it going is probably the right call, because they didn't stop it for him. I mean, they couldn't. There was 15 people doing the race.
Right. And another thing, as I mentioned, you know, this being sort of a learning tournament, I do think, you know, if I kind of go back to that being sort of what drives all of our decision making, you know, in the interest of it being a competitive tournament, yeah, you'd want them to restart so it's more even. But in the interest of learning things, like I said, I think Appotomx has could learn a lot from this experience and kind of how to manage what they're feeling right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the red cane that was on top of Spectacle Rock. And Chirality mentioned the pronunciation of Lechtansi's name. I have to say they did post a pronunciation guide for me, and they spelled it LETCH dash uppercase TAN dash SI. So I interpreted that as Lechtansi.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a hard A or a soft A, but you got to be close either way.
Oh, the tan or the taunt. Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah.
It could be tan, Lechtansi. But I do think it's Lech instead of Lech.
I do agree with that.
And Vash also informing Vash, our restreamer, by the way, shout outs to you and thank you as always for doing what you do. Also tracking. Vash just said they have been communicating in SRL about what happened. So it sounds like Lech is aware of the situation.
Hmm.
Lechtansi. Those are sort of the two camps right now, and I think I'll just say Lech. I feel pretty confident about that, at least. We'll just call him Lech.
Yeah, I
from
feel
now
like
on.
it's Lech.
Yeah, and we'll ask in the interview, of course.
Man, both of them with their names, people have just been Appotomx. Everybody keeps saying Appotomx.
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 Yeah, we get that one a lot. So Lech, I noticed in a former race in this tournament that they were doing, they tried to do that bomb jump right there for the Hera Big Chest 2 times, and they actually fell twice. And I noticed that time they did not go for it. And I have to say, I definitely can applaud and stand by that decision to make a safer play. Now, as has been pointed out, it sounds like Lech does know that Appotomx was not, had the difficulties that they had at the beginning of the seed. So I wonder if they are going to be sort of making safer plays with that knowledge. You can't help but think they would have to, right?
I mean, I know that I have a 7-minute lead, 7-ish. I'm definitely gonna be taking the safer bets versus the more riskier ones.
Yeah.
That being said, if I'm in Appotomx's shoes, I'm going to be taking the more risky plays because I know I'm at a 7-minute disadvantage.
Absolutely. In fact, that's maybe something we can look forward to. You have to. I would guarantee they're going to do some pretty bold plays here, some risky gambles. So, and it could be just what they need. We'll see. Also interesting to note that Lech has not been to CAC, and Appotomx just found the flippers and the hammer in there.
The hammer.
So
it's not an Agaseed.
Yeah, it's not an Agaseed, so we know that.
We got trolled by the lamp.
Yeah. So that's interesting to know. And also just that could offer some very different routing situations kind of from both of them. So should still be pretty different, going through this seed. Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot less gambling from Lech for sure, and a bit more from Appotomx. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Okay, so Lech is coming into CAC now, so they're going to go ahead and collect all of the items that Appotomx just picked up, which included the red mail, hammer, and flippers.
If he had done CAC first, he could have done all of EDM.
Because of the hammer and the mirror. Wow, yeah. Huh.
And because Appotomx did CAC first, when he goes to South Shore and gets the flipper, or he'll have the flippers, so he can do all of the Zora stuff too.
Which I believe Lech has already done South Shore, so it's
yes, he has.
Remains to be seen if they would go back there or not with the flippers. It's probably not enough value to do all that. So Lech, picking up those items. So we'll have to see where they go next. I wonder if they'll go back up the mountain to do Paradox Cave and Spiral. Oh, they're going straight to Dark World, it looks like. That makes a lot of sense. That definitely makes sense.
Yeah, it's something I like to do is go straight to the Dark World just because the amount of checks you have. Also, they've got the mirror. They can bounce back and forth and grab everything.
Sure. Also, the red mail makes it a little bit more attractive. If you have to take a hug from many of the bad guys, it won't hurt quite as bad. Only 5 hearts, though, so they are going to have to watch their step. So we've got green pendant in Skull Woods, blue pendant in Mire, red pendant in Swamp. Red crystals are Turtle Rock and Ice Palace. So we get to skip some pretty tough dungeons, which is always going to be helpful when you're trying to go fast.
Yeah, and the green pendant landed on the shortest Dark World dungeon, so that's... I mean, if they want to get the green pendant to see what's on Sahasrahla, that's pretty handy.
So Lech is starting with Skull Woods. Obviously can't complete it because we don't have the fire rod, but I guess they just want to go see what's in here. They do have the red cane, so it is attractive. Obviously, it's way quicker to check than if you didn't have that. A bit out of the way for one chest, but it all depends on what's in here, I guess, right?
Yeah, big key. So you can do the entire front side now.
Yeah, this initial Skull Woods dip, right after you get Dark World access, when you don't have the fire rod, or say if Skull Woods is a pendant, it's sort of a toss-up. It seems there are a handful of runners who will go up here and see if they can get these 2 items in here, and are rewarded for it. And then there's the other camp that would just as soon come back up here when they have the fire rod, or maybe never. What do you prefer, Blackwax? How do you handle Skull Woods?
I usually check it because if there's something important in the front, then it's kind of hard to get back to later unless you have the fire rod. But if the fire rod's locked by like the flute that's in the Skull Woods or something, then you end up coming back here way later, and it's an orphan location. As where when you first get in the Dark World, it's right there, and it doesn't take a whole lot of time just to check the front.
Yeah, and I think the fact that it's a pendant is maybe more attractive too, because it's like, okay, I'm just here for items. This isn't a huge commitment, and I'll literally never be back here again the whole seed. Like, let me just go check real quick. Whereas if it's a crystal, I think there is maybe a case to be made for not dipping it, because you want to come back when you have the fire rod.
Yeah, I can understand people passing it up for the time being when it's a crystal.
Full heart on Bumper Cave. Probably not gonna be picking that one up. Appotomx getting sniped by a Zora over there on our left side there, just kind of out of nowhere. Hate when that happens.
At least he wasn't fake flippering.
Yes, that was kind of the first thing I thought. If you get hit while you're fake flippering, you die. It used to be a soft lock, but they changed it in this game so that you don't just get stuck. It just instead kills you. Does you a favor by killing you.
Yep, that's the ice rod in the C-shaped house.
Sorry, what do we have in the C-shaped house?
Ice rod.
Oh, ooh, interesting. Okay. And silvers. Huh.
Nice. Now, if only they could find the bow and make use of those.
Lech looks like. Oh, okay. Didn't check chess game yet.
Hook shot.
Hook shot.
Pyramid Fairy or in Waterfall Fairy. Okay.
So
I think
Swamp Palace.
Appotomx routing has been better so far.
Yeah, and Swamp Palace is screaming their name right now.
Oh yeah. I would be headed towards Swamp Palace. Yeah, Hype Cave and then Swamp Palace right after checking the Lech. I don't think he had enough money to actually go to Zora. No,
Ooh, just shy.
Short. Yeah.
Shame.
I wonder why he didn't farm that 20 under the rock over by Ice Rod Cave.
Flippers were in Kakariko Well, which Lech didn't go to Kak for quite a while, probably about 15
Well, no, I'm
minutes
talking
in.
about Appotomx.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was answering a question from chat. Somebody asked where the Flippers were. Sorry about that.
I didn't see what was in that last chest. My stream froze for a second.
Yeah, mine too. Well, I think it was Lech's stream, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
So I think we all missed it.
Big key.
Was this a mirror bonk against that woman standing outside of that house there? Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Oh, Vash pointed out that last chest. It had to be the big key. I don't know if they saw it or, I mean, just logically it had to be. So either way.
It might have been like logical. It makes sense.
Yeah, if we were paying more attention, we might have noticed that too. But we also have two screens to watch, and we have to be talking, which it's hard to pay attention and talk at the same time. All right, so now we're going to see what's up on Paradox Cave. So Appotomx, even with all that full, swamp equipment, deciding to go up to the mountain, definitely can't say I disagree with that either. There's still a ton of items up here.
Yeah, I mean, he has all of Death Mountain to do, so. And if he finds Mitts up here, he can do Dark Death Mountain and Hookshot Cave.
Yeah, that would be very nice. And it's still possible. There's a good chance they could be up here. We haven't seen yet.
Oh.
And there they are. Wow, you called it.
Yeah.
So yeah, sitting real pretty right now. Appotomx, lots of places they can still check, and both worlds are their oyster.
So it looks like he shot straight across and didn't go up the big ladder, which means he's going to be coming back around to find that red cane on top of Spectacle Rock. So I'm wondering if he finds access to Turtle Rock in Hookshot Cave.
Oh, interesting.
Because Ice Rod was in a very easy location.
So I'm guessing Appotomx is going to go over and finish up Hera right now, and then go back for Spiral Cave, and then dip into Dark Death Mountain.
Right. That's usually how I do it too.
Oh, and they wanted to check what was there, see if they're going to get it. That's smart. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And they're just going
straight in. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Let's see it.
In his situation, I would too. I'm behind. It's better to go up there, grab it, get the hint, than spend the time to walk in and look first.
Mm-hmm. You need the knowledge too.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Lech just found the book in Cave 45.
Ooh, that's a good find right next to the Bombos tablet.
Yeah.
Did you catch what the hint said?
I missed it.
Did anybody see what the hint said?
Okay, hopefully Appotomx doesn't spend too much time setting up this bomb jump, or else it's kind of not worth the time it takes for it. But here they go, getting ready to plant a bomb.
And I cannot tell.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Oh, and they get across. Well done.
Yeah. With that sprite, I could not tell if he was lined up properly or not.
The hint was just cash in Turtle Rock. Not too helpful, unfortunately.
Isn't there always cash in Turtle Rock?
Usually. Let's see what Hype Cave's got. So far, just money. Okay, yeah, that was pretty bad.
Where was the Moon Pearl?
That's a good question. I did not see where the Moon Pearl was.
It had to have been in Hera.
Okay. Vanilla or maybe French vanilla Moon Pearl. Trying X in chat saying there's always money in the turtle stand. Oh, Moon Pearl was Tower of Hera boss. Thank you to Vash for catching all these things that we're not catching. Excellent tracking. Okay, and then we had a Swamp Palace hint that essentially told us we don't have to do left side, so that's nice.
I love that hint. I love that hint so much.
Yeah,
it's
same.
like, oh, hey, don't go here.
Don't do that thing that you didn't want to do.
Save, I don't know, 5 to 7 minutes, depending on the RNG of the enemies.
Yeah, that is real nice.
Oh, it looks like Lechtansi using the mirror to do hobo.
I like that. I like when that works out. Sort of tough to spot. You have to have, you have to have the mirror and the flippers, obviously, and it can't be something you've done before. In his situation, works out pretty good because he didn't have the flippers when he was in South Shore before. So that was nice. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we're going to see Pyramid and possibly Catfish.
And Appotomx coming in to get his Moon Pearl from Big Green Guy.
The Big Green Guy. Never heard him called that before, but I like it. It's descriptive and gets the job done. And yeah, the Big Green Guy goes down. And yes, there is our Moon Pearl. And you know Appotomx is super happy about that. That was something that we did not calculate before when we were talking about taking the dip into Dark Death Mountain. They didn't have that Moon Pearl before, so you got to imagine they are pretty happy to have just found that because now they're on our page. You know, like, oh, I'm definitely going to do that.
Well, yeah, now he can do Spiral Cave, and then instead of saving and quitting out of it, he can just walk straight down to the portal and do Super Bunny.
Yeah, that really worked out nice. Gonna go see what's on the floating island
he's gonna
first.
Go,
oh,
he's gonna go to open up Turtle Rock, or at least see what the thing is here.
Yeah, did he do Spiral Cave? There's still time to do that. They might mirror. They might decide to mirror.
Yeah.
Okay.
He probably is just doing this to open the portal because he has to do it later anyways.
Sure. And a map check. This is their first map check. That's crazy to think of. They've been really just rolling right through this seed.
Yeah, they have. Oh, that's why he didn't go to Swamp, too.
Oh, yeah. That's what AI and like Hype Cave and all that. Yeah, of course.
Actually, I like this better.
Same. Yeah, because they were able to get the mountain.
He just has to go down the one set of stairs.
Mm-hmm.
The single arrow.
That is the one that we'll use on Ganon as the fourth shot. That arrow right there.
And the most expensive 10 bundle of arrows in the game.
Okay, so as Lech comes up here, they have the book, so I wonder if we will get to eventually check that, get that check taken care of as well. There's Quake in Hookshot Cave.
Wow,
and the Boots
there's
in there
Boots.
too.
So he can go check Turtle Rock now if he wants to. Although he doesn't have Fire Rod or Ice Rod, so I wouldn't.
That Hookshot Cave was like a superhero's like secret lair. There was like Boots, a hookshot, and a cape in there.
And money.
Yeah, and money. It was like money. The Bat Cave. Yeah, so it's always nice to get the required medallion for Turtle Rock when it's just like right next door in Super Bunny or Hookshot.
Usually I end up hunting it down for Turtle Rock, but the one in Meyer is almost always like right there.
We have a prediction in chat from Lagbot 30,000. 2 shields and a cape already. Laser Bridge has something.
Yeah, it's possible. I'm honestly a little surprised he didn't do Spike Cave, the cape. And there's Bombos.
Well, all right. Appotomx just collecting those medallions.
And ooh, that gives him access to Ice Palace.
Oh, and quick change of heart here. Oh, probably. Oh, going back to Bonk Rocks. Yep, almost missed those. Just 10 arrows now.
And Lech is about to get his boots, cape, and medallion.
You know, you'd be hard pressed to tell what happened at the beginning of the seed that Appotomx had a reset about 7 minutes in and had to restart because the item counts are very, very similar right now. They're kind of checking each other's checks, that they've already looked at, and it seems close right now. I don't know.
Yeah, Appotomx has just been routing things basically perfectly.
I think this 7 minutes really is just from avoiding CAC. Like, I know that's something that Lech, they've talked about in the Discord. They like to do that. It's sort of a strategy of theirs. I'm not going to say that it's like wrong or bad, but in this particular seed, it was not the correct choice.
No, normally when you're avoiding CAC, you don't go up to Death Mountain. I thought that was strange. Usually you just do South Shore and Sahasrara first before going to CAC. Because I know that there's some like high tier players that avoid CAC, but I mean, at a certain point, it's got so much value that there's just certain things you can't put above it.
Okay, so we are going to get that tablet check from Lech up here because they do have the book. Now, if this opens up something big, oh no, Master Sword! Oops, forgot about that. They did, and I did.
Well, yeah, but now they don't have to go back because it just said couch cash, right?
Yeah. Oh, that is true. Trinex pointing out in chat that, of course, Lech does have the Dark World loop, all those checks that they checked sort of up on Appotomx. But obviously we know there's going to be some difference, but that, when you look at the row of items here, and not to mention crystals. I mean, it's really pretty close.
Yeah, it is.
So as I mentioned, Appotomx having Hacksaw as a mentor, Hacksaw has a lot of experience mentoring people. As much as I would love to hear kind of what that conversation sounds like, you couldn't help but want to be a fly on the wall to hear what Veetorp has to say about this game, you know?
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what sort of advice, like a sort of creator of this game would be able to impart. But the really neat thing is, even though Veetorp did help to develop this game and kind of make it what it is today, it's still just as much of a mystery to him as it is to any of us. Randomizer is random. It's always going to want different things from you every time. So even with a creator of this game on your side, you've still got to put in, you got to get some right guesses in every now and then and nail the execution if you want to win.
So the first time that Lechtansi came into Thieves Town, he didn't have the hammer, did he?
He didn't do the back part of Thieves Town. He just pieced out after the front four, I believe.
Right. He would have had to have had the hammer. No? Yeah?
Yeah, he did, because he used the hammer for Dark World access to get into the Village.
So why did he not do the back? It's a crystal, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe just wanted to, it was just all about items. It was a quick item check and, not interested in getting a crystal. But I think I'm of a mind where if you have everything you need to clear a dungeon and you think you can do it, you should just do it.
How many hearts did he have? Because he might have been cautious about doing blind on low health.
See, that I could understand and get behind, and that could very well be the case, because I don't remember how many hearts they had. It would have been, I don't know. It may, if they had even 7 or 8, I think that would have been okay. Anything less than that, I could understand them deciding not to.
Oh, and there's the other medallion, Ether in Desert. Oh, actually, you mentioned it right when he went into the Dark World. Now that I'm thinking about it, he only had 5 hearts.
That's right. Yeah, I did make a comment about that, and he only had 3 when he was actually in Thieves Town. Shoutouts to Lagbot 30,000. Who recalled that, and I seem to remember that too. They were low on health at the time, so yeah, I guess not completing the boss of Thieves Town for that reason is certainly understandable.
Yeah, and he can always do it when he comes back with the fire rod to do
Skullwoods, exactly.
Unless, of course, the fire rod's on blind.
So it doesn't look like the fact that Appotomx was in here with the hammer is going to really have mattered at any rate anyways, because it looks like they've been counting their items and they did not opt to pick that up. In fact, it looked like maybe a mentor was saying, hey, actually, you don't need to go get that. You're at 4 items already.
I think the key is in the big chest.
Oh, okay. So they couldn't get in there if they wanted to.
Yeah.
All right. Appotomx doing a great job against blind, taking him down with really no problems whatsoever, and getting a master sword.
Master sword
for their troubles. Nice. Okay, so Lech about to take down Landmalus as Appotomx heads over to Dig Game.
Where did Lechtansi get his Master Sword at?
I don't know. We missed that, didn't we? Oh, and using
Yeah.
Ice Rod strats on Landmalus. That's kind of cool. Works pretty good.
Oh, Desert Ledge. Trinex is telling me.
Gotcha. All right, and hammer pegs. So we're getting all these random sort of dark world checks. A lot of them sort of Titan's mitts required, kind of being cleaned up by Appotomx over on our left side here.
Yeah, and he'll probably also do Bombo's tablet after he checks Cave 45.
Yeah, because they'll get the book in game 45, exactly. So yeah, that's just another example of a routing thing that just happened to work out better for Appotomx because of the decisions they made. And of course, no one could have known it was going to work out that way, but it certainly has been favoring Appotomx when it comes to the way they have chosen to route.
Right.
Yeah, and I love the decision to go down and do Dig Game first and then pick up the frog on the way back in. Since you cannot do Dig Game if you have someone following you. Just super annoying, but it's something necessary to consider as you are routing.
Yeah, I always do the Dig Game first because I think it was maybe the second or third one I played. I kept getting told I don't remember what it is now. He kept saying that, and I was like, all right, fine. So I went and turned in the smith and grabbed the purple chest, and I dropped it behind me before I went up to the ladder, and he still wouldn't let me play the game. he knows.
Yeah, it's a bummer. That's funny that you tried to like get one past him.
And I like dropped it, so I dropped it on the other screen and came back. But it doesn't despawn until you do 3 screen transitions.
Oh.
So he still wouldn't let me play it.
That's crazy.
So I learned a hard lesson there.
Well, you just taught me a lesson too. I didn't realize all that, but I've definitely gone down there with something following me and been like, oh crap. But usually I just walk away and say like, okay, I guess I'll do Dig Game later, you know?
Mm-hmm. So, would you do desert first or swamp?
I probably would do swamp first just because it has more stuff. Where is Appotomx going? Oh, they gotta get Hype Cave first real quick, and then they will probably go up. Yeah, and go up and check the tablet.
I don't remember what was on Hype Cave. I know Lechtansi already did it.
Garbage. I think it was like a 1 out of 10. It's nothing but money and heart piece, I think. Two
There's the heart piece.
Yeah, 2 heart pieces and some cash.
And he's got enough money right now that it doesn't even matter. I don't even know that I would give that a 1 out of 10. That was pretty bad.
Yeah, that's a really bad Hype Cave. So Swamp is a pendant, which I failed to consider. I guess if I was actually thinking about that, I probably would do Desert first.
Yeah, that's a good point. I might still dip it because I know I don't have to do the left side. Oh wait, did he get that hint? Oh, they both got the hint, huh? Because it was in Hera.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so, I mean, I might do it just because I know, alright, all I have to do is go into the back. I don't have to, kill Argus. I just have to, check the 5 chests and get out.
Yeah, that's true. So try next saying in chat what maybe a lot of us are thinking but don't want to quite come to terms yet with. It's sounding like ice time.
What?
Ice time?
Oh.
Time for Ice Palace?
Ice Palace. Yeah, because they don't have the bow yet, so they can't... Well, I mean, they could if they wanted to really make a ballsy play, go into Pod and Eastern, but it's safer to not. And Lechtansi getting his Tempered Sword, which he is probably very relieved about.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, Ice Palace, I mean, it is a crystal, so obviously that's a pretty big incentive to go do that.
Mm-hmm.
But first, they've got to clean up some of these checks they weren't able to do when they were back in Dark World before because they didn't have the Titansmiths.
And Appotomx choosing to not mirror out of the Bacca Desert.
Yeah. Maybe they forgot, or... Yeah,
well, I know they had to come in the front, but I still think it's faster to mirror there.
To mirror to the front and then dash from there. I agree, because it's like 3 screen transitions otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess just 2, but they're spaced really far out as well.
Yeah.
And all that just for Big 20.
Well, he's gonna get his Tempered Sword as well out on the ledge. Which, much like Lechtansi just a couple minutes ago, he is probably very relieved about that.
Yeah, you know it.
We don't get to have any Trinex shenanigans.
Exactly. And also, they both have silvers already, too. So Ganon is not really going to be a factor as much as it would have been if there was either a Master Sword or silverless component to that fight.
Right. Alright, and is Lech actually going into Eastern right now?
They do seem to be headed that way, it looks like. Oh, no, maybe not. Looks like...
Oh, is he... Okay, never mind. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, maybe lifting the portal to go to... No, not doing that either. It looks like they are going to Ice Palace. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that saving and quitting would have made that any faster, so that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair. It's probably a wash. Toss up. But we are getting our ice finally in. I think it makes sense to be doing this. We'll have to see if there's anything useful in there.
Yeah, and this is where we're seeing that time that Appotomx lost.
Yeah, definitely, because this is the next play, and Lech is just here a little sooner. So, Appotomx, you have to imagine they'll probably be headed over here once they finish up.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of any other sort of like one-off checks that Lech checked that they weren't able to, but I could be wrong. We might see him do a couple other quick checks on their way.
Well, did he ever check the Bombos tablet?
Oh no, I don't know if they. Oh, they must have. If they went to desert after being in the swamp area like that, surely they checked it. I don't think it was anything important. I certainly could be wrong about that, but I don't think.
I don't remember it, but I also didn't know where the Moon Pearl was. So
yeah, like I said, there's a lot going on. Don't feel too bad. We're all friends here. We're just having fun. I do remember that it was a bunch of rupees raining down from the sky. Yeah, it was 300 rupees. I know what it is. I just can't remember if Appotomx checked it.
Oh, Appotomx is going straight to ice. So
excellent. Okay, yeah. So this could be a chance to equalize a little bit.
After he's only got 5 bombs, so that's just a fill up.
There's our hint about the Desert Ledge having a sword in Ice Palace. Came a little bit too late to be too useful.
At least that one is logically... it makes logical sense.
Oh, and Lech opting not to do Ice Palace Bomb Jump. That is not something you see very often, especially in this Mentor tournament.
Did he get the big key already? Because he has Canis Maria. So if he got the big key, then he could skip it and it would only be a couple extra rooms.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he doesn't have the big key.
Then I don't have a good reason for skipping that at this point.
Well, logically, if you have the hook shot and the because it's blue cane in that first chest. If you have the hook shot and the red cane, I do know there is one situation where it actually is okay to not do an Ice Palace Bomb Jump because it's not going to matter in your routing. And I will admit, if there's one person who probably knows that situation pretty well, it's Veetorp.
Well, yeah, I suppose that would be the person to take that advice from.
It was, I can almost hear Veetorp being like, you don't have to do an Ice Palace Bomb Jump here because blah 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 blah, and him being like, oh, okay, well then I'm not going to,
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a pain in the ass to set up. If I could skip it, I would.
Yeah, and again, I wish I could remember the exact... I used to know the circumstances before I could do the Ice Palace Bomb Jump because I wanted to have an excuse to be like, oh, I don't need to do it because blah, blah, blah. But now I just do it every time, so I forgot what that situation is. I think it's... if you have the hook shot and the red cane, and you plan on sort of routing it around from the back, kind of like they've done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it has a lot to do with Ice Tea Room and whether or not that has something. Trinex mentioning in chat. Appotomx, of course, going for it. And, ooh, they missed it on their first attempt. Oh, and it looked like they might have had it, and they kind of had a change of heart at the last minute and missed it. Missed their setup there. I thought it looked good. They were second guessing.
There we go.
And there they go. Got it. Very good.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do the bomb jump that sprite because the pixels, I can't see the feet.
Yeah.
I can't see when
yeah, right. The shadow
up against that edge.
Yeah, the shadow helps, but mm-hmm.
And there's the
fire rod. Wow.
So
what a great place to find it too.
Ice Palace, a good play.
So yeah, Lech unable to fall down here. That's definitely slower at the very least, just having to do what they just did. But yeah, I mean, obviously not a whole bunch, but it's a little evidence of that. Appotomx is asking Hacksaw where to go for sure right now. Okay, what do I do next? All right, looks like they're gonna bomb jump here.
They're gonna skip the big chest that has the fire rod.
Oh no.
There it is. There's the pixel. Kind of hoping he messes it up and falls so that he's forced to get the fire rod.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh,
but he nails it, of course. So yeah, skipping that for now. Yeah, no, he doesn't have the big key, so I don't know. I'll admit Ice Palace routing is not my strong point, but I mean, I don't know if that means maybe they're more likely to go back there with their big key or not. I guess we'll see.
Oh, he doesn't have the big key, so he can't open the big chest.
Right.
Okay. Well, that makes more sense to me then. Well, now I'm glad he didn't mess up that bomb jump.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, Lechtansi is going into Turtle Rock.
I mean, I have to say that makes sense. You know, you just found your fire rod. You've got everything else that you need already for it. You know, certainly within logic now at this point, and it's crystal. So sure.
Are they in bow mode?
Yes. And as we know, Bo does sometimes like to hang out on Laser Bridge. So.
Or in Pyramid Fairy.
Mm-hmm.
Or in Pause.
Oh, yeah.
Stupid. In which case, I mean, I wouldn't be going in there right now without the bow, so.
Appotomx coming up on their Cold Stare fight. A little bit low on health and no half magic, so they're going to have to be sort of careful in here.
Ooh, magic powder. Well, the bow could also be on magic bat.
Oh, true. Since they just found the powder. Appotomx doing a nice job getting them all bunched up and hitting them with flames, but taking quite a few hits in the process.
Yeah.
Cold Stare hits for quite a bit of damage, but fortunately Appotomx able to use enough spin slashes to ward them off and finish them off before taking any more damage and collecting another crystal.
Doesn't Cold Stare do the same amount of damage as the Chain Chomps?
That sounds right to me. Now, Fatboy pointing out in chat something that I was sort of sitting here kind of thinking about too, which is the fact that the bow could definitely be in one of these pendant dungeons that we haven't seen, including Swamp Palace.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would have checked Swamp just because I know I don't have to do left side. That literally, it would have been the breaking point for me. Because I'd been like, if I go in there, I have to check the whole thing. And without that hint, I would have skipped it.
So yeah, Appotomx making a climb right now too. Looks like they had the same idea. So things have been pretty linear since we finally sort of got all the base equipment that we need. Basically, ever since we've been in bow mode, it's been, you know, giant blinking arrows telling us where we need to go. Look at that freaking bunny sprite, man. That is the coolest sprite I've ever seen. Oh, it's gone. I also noticed earlier that Appotomx's was like a Slimer kind of ghost. It's like a green, like blob. Looked like Slimer from Ghostbusters. That's kind of cool.
Oh, and the template's changed.
Yes, I love it. So we have a change of template. Shout outs to Vash for hooking us up with the Turtle Rock template, as both of our runners are now in Turtle Rock.
And Lechtansi having a hard time.
Yeah, getting rattled by lasers there. Fortunately, they do have the riot shield, so that is actually being somewhat helpful right now.
Yeah.
Mimic Cave has 50 rupees. Not helpful. All right, Lech coming up on another item location. Just the compass. Not a whole lot exciting going on right now, but soon we'll be up on Laser Bridge. So while I would like to launch into some sort of tirade, I think I would be interrupted. So instead, we've got about a minute or so to wait. Blackwax, do you have any tips for doing this room without a lamp?
I cannot do this room without a lamp.
I can and I have, but it's not pretty.
I can understand how a lot of people learn it relatively easily, but I have not memorized the tracks, and that creates the problems.
Right? Yeah, you just pretty much have to know it.
It does help to have the hook shot, so that if you get on the wrong track, you can avoid taking damage from the fire bars.
Oh yeah, take advantage of those high frames.
Yeah.
So far on Laser Bridge, nothing too exciting. Ooh, there's
butter
our last sword upgrade. Yeah, so now we have butter.
As soon as you say it. So absolutely no Trinex shenanigans.
No Trinex shenanigans. Unfortunately, no progression either. So the hunt for the bow continues.
Was there a key on Laser Bridge?
No.
Huh.
Oh. No, there wasn't. No, I think Lech already had it. I think Lech already had the.
So the riot shield just completely bait.
Yeah, there was no logical sort of need for it. So yeah, with this butter sword, no problems whatsoever taking care of Trinex, and Lech moves through the first phase quite easily. So it is true. A few people in chat pointing out that that was the first bottle that we found on Laser Bridge. So technically, as we know, that does open up Sick Kid, and if Sick Kid has progression, then the Riot Shield was necessary for that progression.
Yeah, that is true. Like, I didn't realize that. I mean, I thought, oh, hey, we finally got a bottle, but I didn't think about Sick Kid.
So here's something interesting, though. Depending on where Lech decides to check for this bow right now, and where Appotomx decides to check, that could be another huge time equalization. If Appotomx happens to make the right move and finds it very quickly, as opposed to Lech, who maybe, let's say, dips swamp and doesn't find it, that's another huge chance for Appotomx to make up that 7-minute time loss.
Personally, I would do swamp, then red bomb, pyramid fairy.
Oh yeah, red bomb too, as you mentioned. That's another place that Bo likes to hide out a lot of the time. Lech, it looks like, is going to go ahead and check. I would have to imagine. Okay, starting with Sick Kid, because they had the same thought about the bottle as chat did, and then probably we'll check over at powder. Okay, just bombs from the Sick Kid. Yeah, not the progression.
It's nice that they got both the bottle and the powder there, because he's not going to Magic Bat. Oh, he's going to
Dark World first.
Maybe. Well, he's going to do Skull Woods.
Oh, Skull Woods. Yep, you got it. Yeah.
He's going to check the pedestal. Oh no, he's not.
I guess we'll just have to see what he does, because we have no idea.
Yeah, there's been a few different times when I thought I knew what he was doing and I was wrong.
No, that happens. It's all just wild speculation as far as I'm concerned. Because not only do we have to account for the whims of Lechtansi, but we also have Veetorp, who might be telling them some things. Okay, yeah, see, like we even the player just changed directions right there. So Appotomx opting for that Trinex safety over there honestly probably doesn't even need it, but better safe than sorry.
Well, he doesn't know that there's a sword there.
True.
He doesn't have the mirror shield.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that last shield was picked up, but
I wonder if he skipped a chest early on because of his client crashing.
Yeah, it could be.
Yikes. Oh, he's got powder. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I was just thinking might be.
And he just got magic from that Helmasaur.
Yeah, that was actually very fortunate drop there. I was gonna say might be a good time to take a Death Warp, but because of the magic powder, it's not going to be necessary, which is nice. Okay, so now Lech is checking Magic Bat. So they didn't completely forget. They just were checking it in a little bit of a different order.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are checking a bunch of these. And a bottle. Oh, that's kind of ironic, in a way. So they're checking a bunch of these Light World checks instead of maybe immediately committing to one of the dungeons. And not that Appotomx has any way of knowing this, but if they were to jump straight into a dungeon, that could give them a huge advantage.
Yeah. Has either one of them checked Catfish yet?
No, I don't think so.
That would be really annoying as a runner. Be like, all right, go do Catfish now, and that's where your item is that you've had access the entire time.
Oh, you hate when that happens.
You're just like, well, yeah. Well, I've had that happen to me in Agina enough that
you've stopped forsaking it for that reason.
Yeah, I do Dam into Agina, and then I'll save and quit, and then I'll do South Shore on the other side.
Oh, that's cool.
Because, I mean, if you time it out, it's less out of the way than Ice Rod Cave.
So we had a few people in chat predicting that Appotomx would check Spike Cave immediately after Trinex, and it looks like that is what they're doing. Of course, they need to go up and check that tablet because they didn't get a chance to before. But yeah, Spike Cave, that's another interesting one. There could very well be a bow in there too.
Also, apparently there was Uncle Bombs on Catfish that we missed.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Huge shout outs to chat, by the way. We are maybe having a little bit more fun just kind of speculating and just enjoying the seed rather than like reporting on the seed or whatever, which I think is just that's just what I personally like to do. So thank you to all you guys for being a little bit more on it and helping to correct the record whenever we need it.
That's 300 rupees on Bombos, so that's bust.
We had seen that on Appotomx's side. I do remember seeing that check. We weren't sure if Lech had done it at the time. Looks like he had not, so we knew about that one.
So he's still skipping Swamp, and it looks like he's gonna go do Red Bomb.
Yeah, you're right. Looks like heading straight for Red Bomb. And Appotomx is heading for Red Bomb too, it looks like, potentially. Or maybe Swamp, one or the other.
Maybe Swamp, yeah. But see, by skipping all those other little... oh, looks like he's gone Red Bomb. By skipping all those other little ones that Lechtansi did, he's...
ate up a ton of time. Now, of course, there is always the flip side, which is, you know, Appotomx could very well immediately after this go check all the ones that Lech just checked, you know?
And then Lech goes to Swamp, and it's in Swamp.
Exactly. Trinex asking about the hint for Swamp. I want to say it was like rupees and compass, or it's definitely junk. I remember that for sure, but I don't remember exactly what the junk is. Okay, and nothing with the Red Bomb. So now we know that.
Okay. What do we got left? Pod, Eastern, Swamp.
Swamp, yeah. My money's on Swamp. I don't know why. I just got that feeling.
It could be on Pedestal.
Ugh.
Eastern and Pod are both crystals. He's going straight to Pod.
That's pretty bold, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, he knew he had 7 minutes on him. I mean, he hasn't done anything really that I would consider like a ballsy play, so this makes sense at this point.
Yeah, and we are getting some support for this play in chat too. I mean, it has the benefit of, like, you know, since they are crystals, it's like you want to be there anyway. Like, you're gonna have to be there regardless. So it would be awfully nice if they do end up there. But I know for me personally, I definitely would not want to do everything I can here only to find that they're all, you know, bow locked, and then have to come back. If you can do it all together, there's still so many other places to check.
Yeah,
that's just my own personal politics.
I'm still rooting for Swamp just because we mentioned it so early.
Yeah, absolutely. We had everything we needed so early. That's like, really, the seed really wanted us to go, you know?
Right. And Appotomx is going to go find his expensive bundle of arrows now.
Now, I don't think we've actually seen Eastern yet at all, so Lech will be showing us that.
Oh, was Pod bow locked?
Apparently, Pod was not bow locked, but Lech decided not to check it anyway. This is kind of what I'm getting from Lagbot in chat.
Yeah, I mean, his mentor is Veetorp, so right? I feel like there's things at play here that we're just not understanding because it's Veetorp. Which I kind of just want to watch Veetorp play a game now.
Yeah, right. And there is confirmation from chat saying what we suspected, which was that there was a small key in that first chest and pod. So really interesting that Lech would not follow up on that.
Mm-hmm. And Appotomx is doing all the little checks now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, doing some of these, unfortunately, that we know are not going to pan out. Definitely makes sense to be checking, Sick Kid after getting the bottles that we found, or the bottle that we found.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the powder. Okay, so we'll see if Lech is going to go in and capitalize. Yeah, because so now they're going to continue with pod. Okay, so we have item number 1, just a
drop down.
Big heart.
So if this isn't a key, he's locked out. And it doesn't... Okay, yeah.
All right,
it doesn't logically have to be one. That means the upstairs one is a key, and the 2 chests on Bowlock side are keys.
So yeah, the pod Eastern play ultimately a bust. Definitely wanted to have the bow on your way through there. Not to mention you can go mode all the dungeons because we are in bow mode right now.
So at what point in time do you check the pedestal? Because they've both gone through that portal and walked away from it.
Honestly, maybe not until you resign to having to do a Skullwoods check. Like if you're at the point where you're doing Skullwoods because you're that hard up for items, like you already checked Swamp and didn't find it, that would probably be the point where I'd be like, all right, I'm up here, I'm gonna go ahead and check ped.
Well, like how mean would it be if you went all the way through the back of Swamp and killed Argus and got the flute off of him?
Oh man, yeah, the flute, because then like what, maybe it's in Mire or something like that.
Yeah, well then it's at that point in time I almost certainly just go kill Vitreous and Mothula and pull the ped.
Yeah,
I mean I would check Mire Shed and the other stuff, hoping that it's not the ped, but I feel like at this point in time you need to know.
That is true. Yeah, that knowledge. If you knew that it was one of those nightmare seeds where Bo is on ped, then you could get to work like clearing out those pendant dungeons like right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is that what Lechtansi's doing?
It looks like it. Yeah.
Filling up his magic first. That tree has a full magic every time.
So I want to take a quick moment here. It looks like we're both doing ped checks actually with Skull with Appotomx. But I do want to take a quick moment to answer a question. Gamachu in chat asked, why are there mentors helping the racers? This is part of the Go Mode podcast mentor tournament, in which that is the entire conceit of this tournament. The racers, 32 of them total, are pitted up, squaring off against one another, and each one will have a mentor in voice chat with them who is giving them advice, helping them along in the seed while they play. So huge shout out to our mentors, Appotomx being mentored by Hacksaww, and Lechtansi being mentored by Veetorp, who you may have heard of before as one of the fathers of Randomizer. So that is what you are. That's what that means when you see mentor. Okay, so oh man, I kind of wanted to see that ped check. They're going to go straight in and check items and or complete Skullwoods.
Still one more chance.
Oh, okay, looks like Lech might.
Oh no,
Appotomx. Yeah, Appotomx is doing it too. Yeah, that's too bad.
All right, well there's maybe there's at least one item in here. I think there might actually be 2.
I think we found one in the front of Skullwoods when Lech checked it, but I could be mistaken about that.
But yeah, Appotomx just a couple rooms behind Lechtansi now.
Yeah, now, of course, Lech still has a few locations checked that Appotomx doesn't, that might factor in and make them, kind of lose this time, from our perspective at least.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, okay, and Mothula had bombs, so it doesn't look like anything there. Of course, we can turn that green pendant in and get another item from that, so... So yeah, when you got the butter sword and this many hearts and red mail, it really should just be a slash fest. You should just be slashing your butt off just trying to kill this mob.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Appotomx does.
Spins from the butter sword won't actually damage Mothula. Just a little piece of love on the pedestal.
Okay, so not a ped seed. Let's go back to that Mothula. So you can hit with the butter sword. It just it does tempered damage, right?
Right, but when you spin, it still does butter sword damage, so the spins don't affect Mothula.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Same with if you spin with the tempered sword, it does butter sword damage, and tempered sword spins don't hurt Mothula.
Yeah, it's all weird, and it has to do with the fact that butter sword damage is in the same damage class as spikes, and so they couldn't make the spikes hurt them, so that's why they did that, something like that. So quick update: Lech just turned in the green pendant, and did not find anything of use. So we are still looking for that bow.
So the last place to go is the first place that we've been yelling about.
Yep, Swamp. They're finally on their way to Swamp. One thing I've noticed as I've watched people play the seed, and one of the nice benefits of adminning a tournament like this is I'm getting so much secondary info from all of these mentors and just kind of the general racers helping one another and giving each other hints. As I'm picking up on this too, which is awesome. One thing that I've sort of learned from this tournament is when you get the items to go somewhere, it's not just a good idea to do it because you can, but there also seems to be a little bit more proclivity for items to show up in those places when you can access them early too. And since I've kept that in mind and started kind of playing with that sort of mentality, I'm checking for items a lot less often than I was. Yeah, we had access to Swamp about 15 minutes into the seed, more or less. So yeah, it's been on the table for a long, long time, which is why I'm feeling like there's got to be something useful in here. But thanks to Lech, we're gonna find out real soon. And Appotomx, yep, looks like they are also going to go to Swamp. So for the last 20, maybe even 30 minutes or so, it's really just been Appotomx just following in Lech's footsteps, anywhere from 2 to 3 or so minutes behind, maybe even more. So still a lot of opportunities to make that time up. Wasn't able to capitalize on the fact that they had an open world. They've pretty much been checking all the same places that Lech has been checking.
And now they're going into Pod Eastern.
So that is obviously a shame. We don't want to see him go there because we know that there's no bow. But
nothing.
again, that was what Lech did too. So they're both
Yeah.
Following the same sort of mentality through this seed.
Oh, there's the big key. See, did they remember about the left side swamp hint? He just skipped the big chest.
Yeah, I probably would have checked that. Like, yeah, I would probably even, turn around and do it right now even. Oh, apparently there was a big chest hint somewhere that told us we didn't need it. Okay, sorry, missed that. So yeah, as Trenex pointing out in chat, sort of interesting that we had 2 hints that we encountered that decentivized both left side and the big chest. And there's our bow. There it is. So okay, so
chest.
Yeah, so it does make a little bit more sense to delay it when you know that. But as we can see, I mean, it was just as the seed had tried to tell us. It was the bow was there.
And at 1 hour and 29 minutes, Lechtansi is the first one into go mode.
All right, so definitely Lech's race to lose. Appotomx is going to have to make up quite a bit of time, and this is assuming they immediately go to Swamp as soon as they're done here. So as we are just kind of cleaning up here on Lech's side, as Appotomx continues to look for the bow, I want to take this moment to just thank everyone involved. First of all, with this restream, huge shout outs to Vash1978 for both restreaming and tracking for us, just making life so easy as a commentator and as a viewer, just kind of handling all of the details and letting us come in and do the fun part. And also, of course, a shout out to my co-commentator Blackwax. It's been fun co-commentating with you, and I look forward to finishing this one out and interviewing the runners with you.
Yeah, it's been fun. This is the second time we've commentated together.
Yeah, it's been fun. And also, secondarily, a huge shout out and thank you to everyone who has been involved with the Go Mode Podcast Mentor Tournament so far, whether that be racers, runners, mentors, just people who have been supporting by watching, chatting along, everyone involved, volunteers, of course. Even people who have just told their friends about it. We very much appreciate all of the work that has gone into this, and as an admin, I know exactly how much work goes into this, and it's a lot. And just really appreciate everyone coming together to make this a possibility. So thanks, everybody. Oh, and also, since we still have a little bit of time here, quick shameless plug for the Go Mode podcast. If you're not familiar, Go Mode is a podcast about A Link to the Past Randomizer. It comes out every other Wednesday. It's myself, Axial, and Herfy Durfy. The three of us spend about anywhere from 20 to 50 minutes talking about just kind of updates in the community, things that are going on in the randomizer world. And then we'll spend anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour talking about a different topic. We'll do dungeon walkthroughs, interviews, just all kinds of things. So if you like A Link to the Past Randomizer and you like podcasts, then this is definitely a podcast you should check out. So listen to Go Mode. Blackwax, you're a fan of Go Mode, right? You've listened. What's your favorite episode of Go Mode?
I actually liked when you talked about the Majora's Mask randomizer, because I didn't even know that was in the works at all. Because like the next day I was watching somebody do a playthrough of it, and they found a location that they had missed for like an item. And so I thought that was because you guys were talking about like all the problems they were trying to fix with the 3-day cycle.
Oh, like they found something that they couldn't, that was like not logical?
No, it wasn't that. It was there was an item location.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't in her log as an item location. And she was like, "Oh, I need to write this down."
Wow.
But yeah, it was fun to watch that, knowing that the problems she was going to run into, and then ran into a different problem.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. That's I love Majora's Mask. I have not checked out that randomizer yet, but yeah, Axe dipped into it and said it was a lot of fun, just very, very difficult. So anyway, Appotomx it looks like is finally going into Swamp Palace, so they will be on the tail of foxtail, as it were, of Lechtansi, to eventually collecting that bow.
Yeah. I mean, if any one of them had just gone in there early, they would have definitely been up the top of Ganon's Tower by now.
Yeah, it's I mean, I almost hate to do it, but you kind of have to like wonder, is the final finish going to be within 7 minutes? Because if so, then like it could have very, very easily gone the other way.
Yeah.
You can't say for sure because, as we've discussed, having something like that happen can make you play differently when you do finally come back. So who's to say that Appotomx would have made the same decisions if that hadn't happened? Same thing with Lech. They probably played a lot more conservatively. Who's to say that they wouldn't have done those things if they knew that they didn't have a little bit of a cushion on their side? So it's not exactly fair to use that 7-minute buffer to kind of see how things might have been, but you can't help but wonder. You want things to be fair above all else, and the fair thing to do was to let this one run out. But you definitely can continue to speculate all you want, and I'm sure these runners will.
Mm-hmm. I mean, as long as it took him to find the bow, I'm kind of wondering if he thinks that he's behind.
Well, any
Even
good runner,
really
hopefully should kind of have that mentality to a certain extent. You never want to just be like, just like doing whatever. But
yeah, I know. In my first race, because I knew I was going to have another one, I wasn't too worried about if I was ahead or behind. I was just kind of taking in whatever my mentor had to say and, trying to learn. In the second race, I just like, I don't know, now we're 20 in, I'm not in go mode yet, and I'm like, I feel behind. And we start talking about, well, if he didn't do this, you have that, or if he did, or if he got that early, then you're definitely gonna be behind. And
yeah, no, I'm sure it's impossible. I mean, and I've been in a few tournament races. I've been in some SRL races, and it's impossible not to think about like what other people might have done or did do or didn't do, or usually you kind of trend towards like, oh, they probably did it right, whereas I did it wrong. Like, it's just easy to feel that way, I think, as a competitor. So
yeah, well, and then every once in a while you just find everything, and just like everything you do turns up, and you're just like, okay.
Yeah, but then even then the pressure's on, because it's like, okay, I've made some, in retrospect, some pretty good decisions. There's a good chance I'm ahead. Like, everyone is waiting to pass me now, and if I'm not careful, like this will all come crumbling down.
Yeah, that's a very real thing too.
So Appotomx did pick up their bow, and they are now officially in go mode. So they're going to be dashing around to try to finish up all the things that they need to do in order to catch a.
As soon as this crystal drops, which is in a couple seconds, it'll be the guessing game. Because that's the 7th crystal.
Okay, so let's just pick this up at 1:39:05 or so. So when Appotomx picks up the crystal from Armos Knight, we'll make a quick note of the time. That'll give us an idea of about how much of a delay we've got here. All right, and chat is way in front of us already. It's time for the Big Key Ganon's Tower Big Key guessing game, and 3 people guessed 9 right off the bat. I don't know if that's like a meme or if it was just a coincidence, but you and Trinex and Lagbot 30,000 all guessed 9. Fortunately for you, you got your guess in first, so I guess you picked 9, and we'll make those other people repick.
Do you remember the spoiler lag tournament?
Yeah.
Sinat guessed 9 like as much as possible, and he won the guessing game.
Oh, so there is sort of a.
So it's kind of been 9 and 11 were the 2 numbers that he picked, and
that's cool.
Try next time, not repicking.
All right, well, maybe you'll have to talk to Blackwax about it.
I'm not repicking either.
I'm going to guess 10.
Yeah, so that would be like what, rando room then?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Assuming they route things in a normal fashion.
Yeah, Lech does a weird route, if I recall. They do something sort of funny. Kind of like a modified Dark Magician or something like that.
I do something kind of funny like that.
Maybe I was thinking of you. No, I'm pretty sure they do something weird. So either way, we'll just count them as they come, like we always do, and go from there. But I'm saying 10 regardless.
Oh wait, doesn't Lech do he does Hope Room and then he Dark Magicians?
I think so.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, so here they go straight to left side, not doing Hope Room or anything.
Okay.
So here's 1. It's just a small key on a torch.
Two. 3, 4, 5.
All right, so we're up to 5. Still nothing. Okay, so yeah, they go up to that north sort of Stalfos room, and then I think that I believe their normal MO is to do a full right side here now. Nothing in 6 or 7. Okay, here come our checks. Right after this room that I low-key forgot about. All right, there we go. Getting past it nice and quick for me. Thank you.
Oh, we lose.
There was 9. Oh, 10 is the flute. I'm okay with that. That's cool. Yeah. I like choosing the flute.
Well, that cuts out what, 4 checks? 1, 2, yeah, and then the 2 in Meyer. Man, they have full inventories. There is nothing in the Meyer area.
Yeah. Big Key is actually on Vitreous, it turns out. So gonna have to leave here, flute down, and go kill Vitreous, get Ganon's Tower Big Key from there, and then just jump right back in.
Oh, I'm so glad that's not how this works.
Yeah, I like that. Trinex dubs it key sanity, but the only key randomized is the Gans Tower big key. It's like an item in the pool.
That should be a thing. That sounds fun.
I think that would be cool, actually. Yeah, I would like that a lot. I would definitely play that.
Well, actually, I was thinking all the big keys should be randomized, kind of like a key sanity, but just with the big
key sanity light. Yeah, that would be cool too. Because key sanity is a bit much sometimes, but if it was just the big keys, I could get behind that.
Well, we can ask Veetorp here in a couple minutes.
Oh yeah, good idea.
Well, because I was thinking the other day, I was trying to roll a seed that was both key sanity and retro, and it doesn't work that way.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's you have to one or the other because they're on the same tab.
That makes sense. Yeah, because if you can buy keys, but you're also randomizing keys,
it would just randomize the big keys.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I guess that would work. Oh, and speaking of the big key, there we go. It was in the randomizer room, and it was the third one checked, which I think makes it 14 is the winner. I don't think anyone picked 14.
13, 14. What was it? The last one? Yeah, so it's 14.
Yeah, no, it was the second to last one, but it was
second
14.
to last one.
But it was 14, yeah.
So I think that means Vash wins because he came the closest without going over.
All right, GG Vash. Well guessed, I guess.
Right, so
Price is Right rules. No, it's not. It's not. I mean, there's no, you don't get anything if you win on this channel, so it is what it is.
Yeah, just what's he get? Unlimited randomizer seeds?
Yeah, you get a lifetime supply of randomizer seeds. Actually, I can't even give you that because I cannot guarantee whether or not the server stays up.
Oh, that'd be sad if the server went down.
I know.
Yeah, you should call shenanigans because that's exactly what's going on right now. Lechtansi and the Gauntlet doing work. Ooh, getting kind of low on health though.
Yeah, that's true. I was just gonna say, it needs to maybe be a little careful. I don't think. Okay, they do have a red potion at the very least, so it's not exactly mission critical right now.
Right, but, the one they got out of Turtle Rock. And they've got the magic powder that they also got out of Turtle Rock. That was a nice 2-cycle.
Yeah, that was very, very clean.
Ooh, we missed one. Oh, we missed 2.
Okay, so Appotomx getting ready to pick up their final crystal. Yep. If you'll recall, Lech picked theirs up at 139.05 or so. Appotomx got theirs around 147.45-ish. I couldn't quite tell. There's a little bit of lag, I think, on the stream. So roughly 8 minutes or so behind. So if that makes anyone feel a little bit better about the false start, then there is that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put this out there. You would have wrecked this seed because you would have gone into swamp.
Well, I don't know. I would have had to also play the rest of the seeds, so let's not go say anything we can't take back.
I guess that's true.
I always find some way to gum it up. But no, I wanted to go to Swamp House very early, and I think I would have done that a lot earlier than either one of these runners. But it's also hard to say, when you're not in the middle of it.
Yeah, that's true. When you're from the outside looking in, it's very different.
Lech forsaking the validation chest.
For shame.
And maybe not as confident about that. That 7-minute heads up that they have that they had at the beginning, especially after going into pod and Eastern and not finding anything.
Yeah, that bow really eluded them. He might think it's a lot closer than it is.
And to be fair, it was for a good while. I mean, the lead was only a minute or two, but then unfortunately, Appotomx checked in a lot of the wrong places.
Yeah.
Wrong as in they just weren't correct. Not wrong like they were bad choices. I think they were all reasonable places to check, just not where the bow happened to be this time. But I mean, to get a dot done when you're in Ganon's tower is like, you can at least feel like you put on a good show there, and Appotomx absolutely did.
Yeah. All right, so Appotomx going full right, which is going to lose him a little bit of time that...
Will not actually lose because Lech also went full right side. It's just not something they're going to be able to gain.
Right.
Lech having no problems with Ganon, as we predicted. When you've got butter and silver and as many hearts as they do, and red mail, this is really just more of a ritual at the end of the seed than it is any sort of challenging boss fight.
And the flute.
Yeah, and we have the flute. I don't know what that means, but we do have it.
And one more arrow should do it.
Okay, so we're getting a correction. The big key guessing game, I guess we actually guessed wrong, and it was 16. So apologies for the one who
16.
Yeah, but with that, at 1 hour 51 minutes and 44 seconds, according to the stream timer, we'll look at the SRL timer in just a moment. But Lechtansi is the winner of week 3's first match. So GG to Lech.
So Frostbite actually won the game then.
Yes, Frostbite won the game. Apologies to Frostbite. Sorry about that. Okay, we got confirmation. That is the SRL time. Give me just a moment. I will reach out to Lech and Veetorp and see if they want to come in for an interview. Okay, I just reached out to them. We'll see if they're able to join us. All right, it looks like we have both Lechtansi and Veetorp here with us. First of all, GG to both of you.
Thanks a lot.
He deserves all the credit for that.
All right, so I have one question right off the bat. Lech, pronounce your name for us, please.
It's Lechtansi.
Lechtansi. Okay, so I got the Lech part right, but I was saying Tan instead of Tan. So apologize for that. Lechtansi. So GG on that seed. Before we go any further, just give us sort of your general thoughts on that one.
Well, so I kept thanking Veetorp for generating a hundo seed for us.
Okay.
It was nice to check all of the chests. There were some things in there which we hadn't seen in a while, and so I was like, yeah, let's just do a world tour. Let's do them all. But actually, I forget exactly when I first brought up the idea to go to Swamp, and I think, and then I brought up Swamp a second time when we were doing Purple Chest, and then we finally just had to go to Swamp because that was literally the last thing that was available. And so I was successfully argued away from Swamp several times, and hey, those were his arguments were persuasive, and even though it was wrong.
Well, so okay, this is shocking. So Veetorp was the one telling you not to go to Swamp.
Yes, I in fact was saying avoid Swamp. We had hints that told us 3 of the items in Swamp were nothing.
Sure.
And we had paths and routes that allowed us to collect and check many more locations first.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, we were sort of split in chat. I'm looking forward to you guys going back and maybe checking out chat and watching the seed back and all that. But Swamp was available so soon that I think that's why a lot of us, myself and some people in chat, were speculating that, because the seed made it available so quickly, like maybe 15 or 20 minutes into the seed, felt like there was a strong possibility something could have been there. And of course, now as we know, that turned out to be the case. But regardless of that, just in general, I think you guys did a great job working your way through the seed, and other than kind of being in bow mode for a good 20 minutes or so, everything else came pretty naturally. Veetorp, what were your thoughts just sort of in general as you guided Lechtansi through the seed?
I didn't do much guiding at all. We just kind of chatted about life, the universe. It was a lot of like just kind of looking at what was available and a lot of talking through the different options. And then as we were going places, going, all right, so if we go this direction, what are the items we can, like, how many locations can we hit up to have to like not have to come back? And it was like why we left the purple chest the first time. There's not really much of a reason to do that, but when we had an opportunity to go back because of the powder, it was like, let's do both of those at once.
I had one question, something that sort of came up as we were watching the seed. When you went back to check Eastern Palace and Pod, there was a quick dip into Pod where you found a small key and then left and did Eastern and then came back and did Pod. And we were wondering what the thought process was there instead of just going through Pod the first time.
Okay, so we were going to mirror out of the left side of Pod no matter what. And checking the first chest, if it was not a key, Pod is bow locked and we don't have to do anything else. So we're going to go and do Eastern next. If it is a key, we were going to do Eastern and think about our routing in Pod after that. So it was like not to overload ones like what they have on their mind all at once, but then kind of like break it up into smaller pieces, since you were going to have the mirror out anyway. And checking Eastern for 3 items is so much faster than slogging through Pod.
That's fair. When you put it that way, that does make sense, how it kind of gives you some time to process. Blackwax, I'm going to turn it over to you if you had any notes or questions or anything like that you wanted to ask our winners. We did have one thing. We had one thing that we wanted to ask Veetorp if he would consider maybe putting into the game. Did you want to ask him that one?
Oh yeah.
Is there a way you could do like a light key sanity where just the big keys are randomized?
You mean the big keys in the overworld?
Yeah.
Yeah. Specifically
So, like,
the Ganon's Tower one, but maybe even just all of them. Just whenever you have time, if you could get that for us.
Well, I know we're doing a modification for V31 that has some different dungeon item options. Oh, that is an amazing Aghanim. It was just all three of them were on top of each other.
That was a straight line. That was a perfect triple.
But yeah, whatever Chris put in the dock is what we got going on next, and then we have enough work to keep us busy for months.
I'm sure, yeah.
Actually, I have done a customizer in the past where just the big keys were randomized, and I'd have to figure out. I think we did small keys were generic, and that's why that was able to work the way that it did.
So it was like retro key sanity?
Yeah, retro key sanity. So all you had to do was find the big keys. The small keys weren't an issue.
Oh, that's interesting. I think with the customizer, it should just work. I would think. But then again, the customizer is like the, sorry to any redheaded people, the redheaded stepchild of the randomizer. I try to keep it in sync with everything that's happening, but it's like with so many options, it's hard to make sure it's always working right.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, it worked because we played the seed, so.
Well, there you go. Awesome.
Yeah, so unfortunately for Appotomx, right? Like with the crash, I noticed that early, and I didn't. Well, because we were getting to the point where I was like, okay, we've been looking for the bow for like 30 minutes now. I'm just gonna check in and see if he's done yet or not. And then I saw that he had crashed, so. Yeah, we'll have to see, how are we going to, well, maybe we'll talk offline about how we're going to consider like who won this race.
So, I mean, we talked about that quite a bit, as you can probably imagine, and it's sort of fortunate in this situation that you've got the admin of the tournament kind of watching as it's all happening. We did make the decision to just kind of let this one go. And for what it's worth, I know it's not exactly the same to say, so it ended up being about a 7-minute time loss total. Appotomx did escape and then had to leave and come back and do escape again. So that took about 7 minutes. Appotomx just finished. So GG to Appotomx, by the way. Don't want to gloss over that.
GG Appotomx.
Yeah, for finishing that seed, coming in at about 2 hours, 1 minute and 40 seconds or so. Definitely incredible. But yeah, you were over 7 minutes faster than that. So for whatever that's worth, that is maybe a little bit of a consolation, I guess, to anyone who's worried about the fairness there. So give me just a moment. I will get our other team in for an interview.
They're already in.
Yeah, they're here.
Oh, awesome. All right. Hey, GG to Appotomx and Hacksaw.
Yeah, GG Lech.
Hey, man.
So let's start with Appotomx. Just give us your overall thoughts. Walk us through the seed.
Tilt for days, man. Tilt for days. Doing the escape twice sucks. The seed itself, it's always kind of unfortunate when you last location the bow in a blue pendant swamp. But we tried a couple of things that, like we tried for the green pendant. I felt like we routed pretty strongly for density, but it just didn't pan out.
Oh yeah, at the beginning of the seed, Appotomx, like the way that you were moving through, we thought you were maybe legit gonna catch up to Lech. The way that things worked out for you as you, the way that you because here's something that really almost equalized things is Lech put off Kakariko for quite a while, and because of that, Kakariko was stacked. There was the hammer, there were the flippers. Something else that was really important too in there, but it allowed you to be able to get a lot more value and density out of your checks in the early game than Lech was able to get because of that decision. So I would have to agree with you. The routing, once things got going was really well done on your end, especially at the beginning. Of course, we absolutely hated to see, the crash to desktop. Can you walk us through kind of what you think might have happened there?
The computer gods decided that I needed to be at a 7-minute disadvantage.
Oh, boy.
It's about all I can say. I run tons of seeds on this, and it seems like once in every, I don't know, 50, I suffer a crash like that.
Oh, that's unfortunate, man.
Yeah, that sucks.
So, Hacksaw, I want to talk with you a bit, because one thing I was talking a little bit about on stream is, when you and I spoke before this tournament started, and how, a big part of your job is working with people and helping to manage sort of them in their headspace. What kind of things were you saying to Appotomx to help them out throughout this seed?
Well, I was just trying to let them know things like that happen. There's not really much you can do about it after the fact. You just kind of got to move on, play the best you can. If you see a gamble, it might be worth taking, but you just kind of got to move on with it and deal with it as it goes.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely. What were your thoughts on the seed?
The seed was really, really free until the bow. The bow was just kind of garbage location. I blame the guy that wrote the source for it. I don't know who he is, though.
Some unknown. Yeah,
I've never met the guy, so I'm with you.
Yeah, I've never met him either. Never seen him. And yeah, but no, I mean, it was pretty free. The play we made at Turtle Rock, we had all this stuff to beat Turtle Rocks or everything, and maybe we'll go up there, we'll find the bow, we'll get lucky, and not have to go visit Eastern Pod at all. And at that point, it was either we go to Pendant Swamp, which only had 3 items at that point, I think it was, and it was that, or Pod, which was bow locked, and Eastern, which could have had 2 to 3. So it's kind of a coin flip, and we just we went with it and didn't quite work out.
So I think it also was influenced by the fact that we knew at least 3 of the items in Swamp were garbage.
Right, because of the hints that you found along the way, right? But Swamp access was very, very early on, which was one sort of, I guess, clue if you wanted to sort of head that way. Now, even though you guys didn't do that, I will say from the time that you were all in you both were in bow mode, every check that Lech made, pretty much Appotomx you would make right after. So there was, I guess, sort of an opportunity theoretically. If you had gone straight to Swamp after you finished with Trinex, that might have even equalized it. But and for good reason, I think things that made total sense, went and checked sort of all the same locations, including Eastern and Pod without the bow, which, was sort of kept things about where they were. But yeah, what a seed. Let's have, if anyone has any sort of final thoughts, let's move to wrap up. But any sort of overall kind of things anyone would like to sort of say as we're finished up here.
I have one question. So at a certain point, because you guys were short on items, your only 2 options were ice or swamp. What was the argument for going to ice over swamp?
Crystal?
We actually did ice pretty early because there was a hint. Oh, where's the hint? Somewhere there was a hint that said there's a unique item in Ice Palace. So we went there.
I think that hint was in Desert.
Yeah, same for us. We were like, okay, so ice is a crystal. Obviously, we're going to do crystals.
Yeah,
okay.
that question was raised, and the fact that it's a crystal, I think, makes perfect sense. But those were sort of both available at the same time, and I can't remember if you had the hints at that point about 3 of the items in Swamp being useless, but we sort of wondered that too, and we all decided ice as well. So don't feel too bad about that.
I think if it weren't for the fact that I had the 5-6 crystals when we left T-Rock, I might have dipped Swamp, thinking, if I couldn't get into the Pyramid Ferry or whatever. But it was such a thing where I could route the Pyramid Ferry, route the Pyramid Ledge, hit the Catfish, hit that. And I got so many fetch quest items inside of T-Rock that it just led us completely away from Swamp.
Yeah. Any other?
Timp, I wanted to say something. It's funny that you said that doing Kakariko last was loud.
It was objectively wrong in this seed. I'm going to be honest. It just it was wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong every time, but this time it hurt you.
Okay. I was actually feeling really good about that play because we knocked out a crystal really early, and we were able to go straight into Village of Outcasts and really just combo all of Village of Outcasts, all of Kakariko, all of South Shore, all of Dark South Shore, Pyramid, Catfish, and into Zora, and we just like comboed all of that together, and I was feeling really happy with myself when I was like, oh yeah, we did that really great.
Oh, it's good that, I mean, it's definitely good that you felt that way, and it's not like the way you did it was bad at all. And I'm sorry, it was a couple hours ago. I can't remember the exact item combinations, but it would definitely, as we watched it, it was like it was almost like Appotomx kind of had the same items as you did 40 minutes into the seed, even with that 7-minute time loss. So you'll have to go back and check it out. But there was definitely one of those times where it was like, seemed like putting it off as long as you did might not have.
Kakariko definitely was stacked when we got back to it, but I don't know if it really pushed our ability for movement as much. It's all good.
Yeah, no, you'll have to just check it out. And again, I wish I could articulate a little better, but that was definitely our impression as we were watching it. Yeah. Okay.
Well, hey,
any final
Appotomx,
thoughts?
Appotomx, with your final time, 152, man, even with the crash, right? So like 152 compared to a 150, that's really close. And, especially with the tilt, man, like that's a great job.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. I was hoping in my heart of hearts to be like, yeah, I'll end within 7 minutes and I'll feel better. But I don't know. It was a thing. I suffered some tilt to the nth degree, but I don't know. It felt good for a minute there, like I was fighting my way back in. But when I was starting to starve for the bow, I knew that that was probably happening to you as well, and it was going to be the great equalizer that probably cost me.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't cost you, but it would have saved you.
Right.
Because you and I had identical amount of items checked.
We both had 162.
I think I had like 164.
Super.
Yeah.
And to your...
So yeah, I should have taken more of the gamble, but my gamble, like Galaxy Brain check, was going for.
Yeah, we did that too.
Yeah, you guys both last location the bow.
Yeah, literally, we both did absolutely everything until we got to the bow. Like we even went out of our way for Spike Cave, which was.
I routed Spike Cave after I did T-Rock. We ran over in the Dark World, and we ran over to Ether Tablet, and then did Spike Cave.
All right. Well, we will move to wrap up. I want to, again, congratulate Lechtansi and Veetorp on a victory in this tournament. And a GG to both of our runners for an incredible race to watch and incredible routing and execution. As you can see on our screen, our next race in the Go Mode Podcast Mentor Tournament is coming up on July 2nd, which is Tuesday, and that's going to be Verts 505 versus Tyler Salt. Can't say for sure whether or not that will be restreamed, but be sure to check this Twitch channel. If we're able to restream that one, we will. If not, you can always watch our multi-stream and chat along with us in the Go Mode Podcast Discord. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and call it for this evening. Thank you again so much to everyone involved with making this restream possible. Shout outs to Vash and to my co-commentator Blackwax. And I have been Timp again for the Go Mode Podcast Mentor Tournament, signing off, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody, and good night.
GG.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thanks.